Cenk Uygur endorses bestiality.
Mr. Reagan.
Okay, so this video is thanks to the awesome Mark Dice, who somehow stumbled upon this video from the Young Turks. Mark Dice, I do not know how you found this, but this is gold. Now, if you don't know who Cenk Uygur is, we'll get into that in a second. But first, let's go to the video.
I believe that if I were the benevolent dictator of the world, I would legalize bestiality where you are giving, where you are pleasuring the animal. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. Now why? Why did that happen? It's the dumbest thing I've said.
It really is the dumbest thing you said.
No, I'll tell you why. Because was the case that we covered where there was like a guy or a girl or something that was pleasuring a horse, and the horse came to a conclusion, right? So who got harmed?
You know that people who are, okay, look, not to be a downer about what you're saying, because what you're saying sounds kind of funny, but a lot of people who are being raped can actually like have an orgasm. So like if a guy is being raped, he can have an orgasm. Like you can't say, if you come, that means you wanted it. That's not the right way to go.
But number one, you're being an unbelievable downer.
I am, but that's the truth.
Number two, they're not both humans. Number three, I mean, if you really asked the horse, did you mind? The answer's got to be, no. Do you see what I'm saying? No.
This is such an awkward conversation.
It is. All right, I'm going to leave it be, okay?
Yeah, this giant turd actually said this. Now, look, Cenk does try to be funny sometimes, and he'll probably try to play this off as, just a joke. But it really sounds like he's serious. I mean, obviously, he knows that people are going to think that what he's saying is weird and maybe funny, but he seems to be making a case for this with no obvious indications that he's, that it's just a joke. So, I mean, it looks to me like this is just what Cenk thinks. And I mean, I guess that's okay. I suppose lots of people, especially leftists, do have crazy ideas about the world, and leftists in particular tend to embrace, aberrant sexual behavior. But I mean, Cenk is kind of a important person on the left. I mean, I've heard leftists defend polygamy, for instance.
Their four-way relationship is working wonders for them.
The relationship could best be described by having Tori as the hub and all of us are spokes on a giant wheel.
I've heard leftists defend incest.
Why is incest wrong? It's not clear to me that it's wrong.
I've even heard leftists defend pedophilia.
According to current research, pedophilia is an unchangeable sexual orientation, just like, for example, heterosexuality. It is our responsibility to reflect and to overcome our negative feelings about pedophiles and to treat them with the same respect we treat other people with.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's real. But bestiality, okay, I think this is the first time I've actually heard a leftist defend bestiality. And you gotta understand, Cenk is a very prominent leftist. All right, now why is Cenk such a big deal? Why do we care that he supports bestiality? We will get into that in a moment. First, I need to sell you something. Imagine if you had received a personal invitation to invest $50 in Uber when it was just a startup. On IPO day, you could have made $248,250. That same $50 invested in Amazon before it IPO'd could have made you over $7 million. Mike Markula was Apple's first angel investor. On IPO day, his windfall was already 220,552%. But that was when Apple was only worth $1.8 billion. Think about how much Markula's net worth grew as Apple blazed a path to becoming the first $1 trillion company in US history. And without him, iPhones, Apple Watches, iPads, and other devices that we use in our daily lives may never have been invented. Look at these surprising returns from these popular startup companies. One of these earned 583,264% revenue surge. Now, which would you rather be, an angel investor or an IPO investor? The choice is clear as day. How would you feel if you could lock in a ground floor opportunity in the hottest startups this year that everybody's fighting over? Fortunately, Shark Tank's Robert Herjavec and his team of ultra-successful angel investors are here to help deliver angel deals with life-changing upside delivered to you on a silver platter. Watch the free video at getangelrich.com or click the link in the description and see how you can participate in these potentially lucrative deals before the mainstream finds out about them. That's getangelrich.com. So maybe it's not super surprising that a leftist would say something like this, but Cenk is different. How do I put this? Let's just say Cenk is special. So first, let's get the pronunciation of his name out of the way. This is how he spells his name, and this is how he pronounces his name.
Cenk. Second name, surname is Uyghur. U-Y-G-U-R. Like you-gur. So don't let it throw you. It's not Yank, Hank, or Plank. Okay, it's Cenk, like Jenkins. Uyghur, like Uyghur.
All right, so now that we're all on board with the pronunciation, let's get into why Cenk is so special. Cenk started up a left-wing media company called The Young Turks. The Young Turks have 4.57 million subscribers. They are wildly successful, and they are powerful. As I mentioned in my famous Brains Behind AOC video, Cenk and the Young Turks were instrumental in the election of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in 2018. However, in that video, I said that Cenk was the brains behind AOC, and that was actually wrong. Cenk and the Young Turks were merely the propaganda wing of the Justice Democrats. The Justice Democrats was the group that got AOC elected. Now, Cenk claims that Justice Democrats was his idea, which is why, when I made the video, why I was confused. But actually, the Justice Democrats was the brainchild of this man, Zach Exley. Zach Exley is the real brains behind AOC, which you can find out about in my follow-up video, The Brains Behind AOC Part 2. Just go to my channel and scroll down and you'll find it eventually. However, as I said, despite the fact that he wasn't the brains behind AOC, he was still marketing AOC like crazy. And in fact, the Young Turks support all the crazy socialists in Congress: Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, etc., etc., etc. But now there's an even crazier thing about Cenk Uyghur. He's running for Congress. Now, the district is a little north of where I live, so I can't vote in that election, but he's running against George Papadopoulos, a guy who I happen to have the pleasure of knowing personally. Great guy. And I really, really hope that George wins that race. And you know what? Maybe I'll convince him to come on the show one of these days and tell you guys all about his campaign. He does go on Fox News a lot, so I might be a little small time for him, but I will try. But enough about George, let's get back to Cenk Uyghur and his love of bestiality. Look, the left supports some weird sexual stuff, right? I mean, let's go back to the 1990s. The left has been strongly supporting LGBT rights since the 1990s. And in the 90s, there was this idea that homosexuality was not supposed to be encouraged, but, tolerated. They wanted to ensure the safety and civil rights of the homosexual. And actually, I support that. I don't think that people should be bullied for these personal decisions, no matter how strongly I disagree with them. I strongly disagree with the idea of cheating on your wife, for instance, but I'm still voting for Donald Trump in 2020. I mean, everyone is a sinner, and he who is without sin should cast the first stone. However, this tolerance argument moved to acceptance and then celebration, and now we have to accept transsexuality as normal and celebrate that, and the left is even pushing society to accept other far more insidious and more sinister kinds of sexual behavior: polyamory, incest, pedophilia, and apparently bestiality. I certainly hope that this derails Cenk Uygur's congressional campaign, and I really hope George Papadopoulos wins that congressional seat. In fact, I think we'll finish this video up by playing George's campaign announcement. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is a proper candidate for congressional office.
George, we understand that you have an announcement that you'd like to make here exclusively on Fox and Friends.
Absolutely. Given that this is Thanksgiving week, I'm very thankful for the opportunity to announce my candidacy for California's 25th Congressional District. It's a district which the Republicans held for 26 years, up until recently when Katie Hill, the now disgraced Congresswoman, recently resigned due to her unethical behavior, both in the halls of Congress and in the district that she represented. So look, I live in California. I chose to make California. I'm speaking to you from Los Angeles. today. And this is a state with tremendous potential. Unfortunately, the governing apparatus and the party in this state has driven it right into the ground. I've been living here for over a year and a half, and people every single day, when I go and talk around the districts, the state, the country, they tell me, we need a candidate to represent the community that has an America First agenda at heart, that supports the president, and if elected to Congress, would propose and enact legislation that would advance this agenda. When the president came to Los Angeles about a month ago, he raised $15 million in 2 days. That was unheard of. This is Reagan's state. And unfortunately, because so many of the people in the Republican leadership in this state are trying to convince voters and even people running for office in this state that we need to evolve as a Republican Party. We cannot be the same Republican Party as other states. That's the wrong policy. It's turned blood red districts in this state blue, and it's going to lead to the Republican being an extinct individual here. So I'm running for the 25th Congressional District. I'm here to promote the America First agenda and to enact legislation that has real-life consequences for the American people and my constituents.
All right, making his exclusive announcement right here on Fox & Friends. George, thank you very much for joining us live. I bet you have a website. What is it?
It is, thank you. It's www.georgeforcongress.com. You could donate there, and you could read all about my policies on there very soon. Thank you so much.
All right, George Papadopoulos trying to get into the House.
All right, before I go, I want to remind everybody to donate $5 to my GoFundMe. This is from my cartoon show, AOC The Squad. I know I talk about this every episode, and you probably hate it, but I'm going to keep going because I think this is important, right? Again, if you are broke, do not give money to this stupid cartoon. But if you've got a little bit of money, why give me $5? Because America needs some conservative entertainment out there. Conservatives don't realize how powerful entertainment is. We don't get it. We just don't get it because we are not manipulated so easily by cartoons and late night talk shows. But progressive teenagers are, and progressive 20-year-olds, and I think probably 30 and 40-year-olds. But seriously, leftists, they get their ideas from this stuff. It's crazy. And we need to make some of it ourselves. As stupid as this stuff is, we need to make conservative versions of entertainment programming.
We are so sorry. She bawled.
So please, hit the link in the description and donate $5 to the cartoon. We are in a culture war, people. Come on. All right, well, that is it for me. And remember, it's not that our liberal friends are ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. That is a bit of a tongue twister, but I have to say it every episode. All right, good night.
Those who would trade our freedom for the soup kitchen of the welfare state have told us they have a utopian solution of peace without victory. They call their policy accommodation. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.